Well, good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to Inside Oakwood with Dr. Pollard and his guest. We are still trying to get up on Facebook. Well, we're going to keep on going because we're recording and we'll post it to YouTube in just a little bit. So good morning, Dr. Pollard.
Hey, good morning, Audrey. Good morning. Thank you for stepping in for us at this moment. We appreciate you very much. And of course, the reason you're stepping in is because Donna has lost her mother, and we want the entire Swinton family to know that we are praying for them during this their time of loss. Death is never an easy thing, and especially when the person passing is mother. It's very, very difficult. So we want them to know that we are praying for them and we are lifting them up, and pray that God's comfort will be with each of the family members.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Pollard. And Donna actually is listening. She's been texting me this morning, so
Good.
keeping me straight on this side of the desk. Usually I'm behind the scenes, and so we are managing and keeping it moving as we need to, and standing in the gap for her. And so our prayers are with her family as well. So thank you. I'm sure she'll be glad to hear that this morning.
And we'll be glad when these kinds of things don't take place anymore. That we'll be glad to. Well, this morning, Audrey, we've got a wonderful panel of guests who are with us here, and let me introduce each of them because each of them plays a key role in the ministry to students here at Oakwood University. We've got Dr. Dave Richardson, who is our Vice President for Mission Enrollment Services and Pension. So we're grateful that Dr. Richardson is here. Welcome this morning, Dr. Richardson.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Pollard.
Good morning. Good morning. We've got Dean Dave Knight, who is our Vice President for Student Services, who is here this morning. And welcome, Dean Knight. We're happy that you're here. We've got Chaplain.
And good morning to you.
Thank you. Thank you. We've got Chaplain Andrew Pileggi, our Oakwood University Senior Chaplain, who's with us this morning. Chaplain Pileggi, good to see you again, of course. And then we've got Mr. Raymond King, who works in the Division of Student Services as the Director of Student Activities. And we're all of us who are on campus know and love of Mr. Raymond King. So we talk about student activities. You know, the COVID virus has changed and altered and impacted so many routine and campus operations that sometimes it's easy to forget that students come to campus for a particular experience. And the Oakwood experience is an experience that is in person and face-to-face. And how is that affected by the COVID virus now? So that's what we're here to talk about. What does it look like in the new 21st century reality of COVID? What does a plan for student development, student activity, student events, what does that look like in the new environment?
Hey, I guess I'll start off with that question. So one thing we've really been trying to stress is social distancing. What does that look like? You know, unfortunately, we had to leave campus in a rush last semester. So everybody's so excited to see each other. You know, they want to give the hugs and the high fives. They want to hang out, you know, but we still have to remind them that we're still in the middle of this. We haven't gotten over it yet. So thinking about what students can do where they can still see each other face to face, but still practice social distancing. So we're planning a lot of outdoor movies. We recently purchased a big outdoor inflatable movie screen so we can show movies outdoors where a lot of spacing can happen. We're going to be doing a lot of virtual activities because we don't want to forget about those students that are not on our campus but still want to maintain some type of social interaction with our student body. And then there's going to be some events where, you know, typically we may have it 3 hours where we're going to have to break up that event so we can allow multiple students to select a time and come in and practice social distancing, but still enjoy those type of events.
Wow. Thank you. Well, that's very helpful. Of course, you know that one of the draws to any university community is student activities, games, and social engagement. Mm-hmm. So, along with social distancing, and for the administrators who are on this morning, How will we adapt to these changes where social distancing is just a must? What kind of activities will the university offer? What kind of activities enhance spiritual growth in this new environment? That's where we come to questions around spiritual life. Do we have outdoor facilities? These are all important questions. Anybody want to weigh in at this point? How about you, Dean Knight?
Dr. Pollard, representing the residence hall in particular, because we can break down into smaller groups, we encourage those who are having worship within the residence halls to practice the I wouldn't say social, but the physical distancing in a way that we can still have that face-to-face type of experience. And we also have areas outside that we can huddle. Again, physical distancing, which will be primary, so that we can have some of those engagements as opposed to just everything on Zoom. I think it's almost like Zoom fatigue now. So we have to look for those moments where we can have smaller groups to actually have those intimate worship that people look forward to, and that defines Oakwood University and place it in a special category for those students who wants the Oakwood experience.
Amen. Zoom fatigue. I haven't heard it described that way, but I felt it.
We have all felt the Zoom fatigue.
You've all felt. I didn't know what the name of my condition was, but now I know. So spiritual life, Dr. Richardson, Chaplain Pileggi, a big part of the Oakwood experience, of course, is what happens spiritually. And there's no experience, in my lifetime, I've worked at 4 different institutions. There's no place like Oakwood for the spiritual centeredness of the campus and the free expression of that spiritual centeredness. So from you gentlemen's perspective, how do we facilitate that in the new environment? What do you see? What are you experiencing? And we've already done some tremendously creative things. If you would just say a little bit about how you, as managers of spiritual life, have approached delivering spiritual benefit, ministry in the new environment.
Well, Dr. Pollard, one of the things that we're doing is we're working on outdoor venues for all of our listeners, especially our alumni. Dr. Pollard has directed that we beautify our Unity Pond. So if you've been there before, it's already a beautiful setting. But I want you to remember specifically the amphitheater that is right by the Unity Pond. So at this moment, it's completely being transformed. It's currently being painted over in the Oakwood blue and gold. And there are going to be 2 logos on either side. And we already have power out there. So that's going to be one of our main venues, an outdoor venue, so that students will still have the opportunity to come out and worship while we space them out across the scenery that's there. Additionally, not only are we beautifying the amphitheater structure, but there are plans in place to create a huge shading structure so that eventually we'll be able to have up to a couple of thousand people sitting out there. Of course, once the CDC restrictions are eased up, they'll be able to come out there. But in the meantime, we'll be able to space people out so that we can have a large crowd in the open air worshiping God under the stars. Wouldn't that be a beautiful sight?
Amen.
So that's one of the things that we're doing. Of course, we're going to deliver a lot of content online. And then we want to do some other activities on Sabbath afternoons after services are done. You want to get out in nature. So we're thinking about taking students out on a nature hike. One of the things about being here in Huntsville, Alabama is there's a lot of nature around. So we can take advantage of that. We have beautiful state parks all around. And so we want to take our students up out there where they already have some amazing trails and some places where we can gather our students together in a space, in an environment where they're spaced apart, and we can just worship God out in nature. So even though this COVID thing is crazy, I think God is giving us opportunities to worship him in new and different ways. So the only thing I see happening is the spiritual experience at Oakwood will be enhanced much more. So I'm looking forward to what we're going to be able to do in those new ways.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. Dr. Richardson. Dr.
yes,
Richardson.
and good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Pollard, and to Audrey. Good morning to our listeners.
morning.
So we're really excited about what is happening at Oakwood University. So what I'm hearing you ask, Dr. Pollard, is what does this look like? What does the Oakwood experience look like in this COVID-19 time as we think about how we're delivering this in our outdoor experience? And so you've heard from the student activities pieces of how we're engaging them, and then the spiritual pieces of how we're engaging our students. And that's, I think, the word that I want us to continue to communicate is that you can experience Oakwood University even in COVID-19, that we've put things in place so students can be social distancing and with making sure that we have our mask and so forth, but we're still delivering that experience. So you can come to Oakwood University, and I say this, you can come to Oakwood University and still grow spiritually, not just by Zoom areas. A lot of institutions have said, hey, I'm just going to strictly, and I understand their concerns, but they're saying we're strictly going to go online. Hey, I understand you have to do it. But Oakwood University has said we're not only we're going to be online, but we're going to be in person with understanding the CDC guidelines, but we're going to have opportunities for our students to engage, to grow spiritually, to grow socially. We talk about Healthy Campus 2020. That's an important piece of what we're doing. We talked about the nature walks and how our students are engaged in Healthy Campus. We got an incredible initiative with our Healthy Transcript, our co-curriculum. I mean, there's so much that is happening at Oakwood University, ladies and gentlemen, that I want to say that should draw you to Oakwood University. So please, Oakwood University is the place to be. We've set these things up, and I'm excited about what's happening here at Oakwood.
Dr. Pollard, if I can add there, since we're talking about the virtual community, Ray, if you could tell us how this is going to impact students who are not on campus, who decided or could not come back because of the traveling bans and all of that, how will they be engaged? Because that's important still to be a part of the Oakwood, the family.
Oakwood experience, right.
Yeah, the Oakwood experience.
So like I stated earlier, we're going to do some virtual events that will allow our non-campus students to participate. Virtual events such as USM will be doing a karaoke on live on IG.
Right.
I'm sorry?
I said the United Student Movement, our student
yes,
government.
I'm sorry. United Student Movement, which is our student body government, is going to be doing some karaoke on live. We have a company that will do an actual escape room, total virtual, online, that will engage our online students. Some of our events, for instance, if we were to have like a talent show, we will be able to broadcast that talent show for those who are not on campus to watch. So we're definitely trying to make sure that when we're thinking about some of our events, that how we can include our online students. I do have a committee of students that assist me with some of these plans, and some of them are online. So they're giving me their perspective of what they would like to see, where they can still feel like they're a part of our university.
I follow the United Student Movement on Instagram, and over the summer that you did a Cribs episode. That's from the 90s. And so I thought that that was really interesting how that was brought back. And as I was researching for the program today, that was one of the top 10 activities that universities could do virtually just to make sure that they are inclusive of their entire campus.
And Audrey, the spirituality, we're doing the same thing. So maybe Chaplain Pileggi with our online devotionals and our Connect service. So Chaplain Pileggi, because not only are we doing the activities virtually, but we also have the spiritual experience virtually. So Chaplain Pileggi, maybe you can share some of the things that we're doing as it relates to that.
Yeah, so all of the services that we're going to do, is even the outdoor events, we're going to do our best to make sure we can stream those. In addition to that, we're going to be producing online content on a regular basis. So students will have the ability to view content, whether they're viewing it as it comes out live, or they can just come back and view it another time. And for our students, if you're familiar with Oakwood University, you're required to attend worships. And so now you'll have the flexibility in your schedule to come and to view these services, to view these devotionals, and just respond and react to them, incorporating social media or using social media as a way to respond and let us know that you're engaging with the content. And then we're able to give them credits that way. So this will be able to impact all of our students, whether they're on campus or off campus. And as Dr. Richardson mentioned, our Connect Church, we want to move that outdoors, but it's been a virtual experience up until now. It started over the summer and it's continuing throughout the school year, and it gives students an opportunity to connect with each other. So it's not a traditional service where you just praise God and pray, but you hear a message and then we sit around and we talk about that message. Now, we've been doing that virtually. We hope to do that outdoors as well. But even if it's being done outdoors, it's going to be recorded. It's going to be uploaded. And so all of the content, regardless of how it's being broadcast, will be available for students to either watch live or to come back and watch later at another time. So doing it that way just opens it up to everyone who wants to participate, whether you're on campus enjoying the experience or you're enjoying it virtually.
Yeah.
How can students find the schedule for the social activities, the spiritual activities? How can they find that schedule so they know exactly where to plug in?
So one way, Audrey, that our students are finding that is we have an incredible app. It's called the Oakwood app. And so many of our students have already downloaded those apps. Our faculty and staff have been engaged with this app. This app is going to lay out the schedule, so students are going to need to be engaged. That's one way. I know there's other ways that they'll also be able to share, but that is the primary way that we're delivering our information to our students in this modern time. Oakwood app.
Oakwood app.
And I also want to add that USM are also posting their events on their social media accounts, on their IG account, which is OU_USM. That's for the Instagram account. So that's another form that we've been communicating with students regarding events on campus. And of course, don't forget our good old email system. So we know everyone is not on Instagram. So at least we can still have our good email system to send out those messages.
And text messages as well. We utilize that.
Yeah.
So there's multiple areas, but our primary that we've decided as an institution would be the app. But yes, I would agree. We have multiple ways that we're getting this information out because we want our students to be engaged in that way.
Right. And email sounds obsolete during these COVID times.
What's that?
Who would have ever thought that would live to say when email would be considered old school? I mean, just about that progression, you know?
Right.
It's like MySpace.
Yeah. That's amazing, amazing.
Dr.
Well,
Pollard, you have any questions?
Yeah, we got a series of wonderful activities that are planned for students. Just look for the schedules. We want our students to know that there is every opportunity for them to engage and to participate in events and activities that are going to be a blessing to them and to them, their families, and to their growth and their spiritual walk and their journey here at Oakwood University. I mean, it's a great time. You know, they say it's the best of times and the worst of times. This is a wonderful moment in which we are living. We're living in a wonderful moment when we're learning so many things that we didn't know about ourselves. We didn't know that we could be so nimble, that we could be so flexible. We didn't know that we could have so many opportunities to grow and to expand, to use new modalities. We never knew that about ourselves. We never knew we could be so flexible or resourceful. And at the same time, as we are pioneering many of these new modalities, we can't forget about the ones that have brought us here. And the Oakwood experience is a part of that human contact experience that never will go away. The technology, as I see it, Audrey, is a tremendous tool, but a terrible master. So we need to use it as the tool it is, but never over rely upon it, because it was designed to communicate information. Right. And relationships are more than simply providing information, aren't they? They're more than that. And Oakwood is about relationships too. So we're finding our way. We're finding our way.
Right. And I've been on campus. I saw what Chaplain Pileggi was saying yesterday. I came on campus and my son said, "What is going on over there?" We saw the amphitheater and it's being painted and it's beautiful. And so I think it's also giving us opportunities to be outside of the box. And time is not waiting for us to do that. So we're having to jump on it as soon as we have an idea or think about it. We just have to do it because we have to make sure that those needs, as you said, Dr. Pollard, of our students, excuse me, are met, because they can't have they're used to hugging and being engaged with each other as far as fists, dapping and all of that, and that's taken away. And so being very cognizant of that and making sure that they have other creative ways that they can still engage is very important. And so I applaud the university for making sure that they jump on those situations and make sure that the students still have different ways to do what we need to do in these interesting times, as I call them.
Yes, absolutely.
Audrey, I was going to also mention the fact that because we don't have varsity sports, fall varsity sports has been postponed until spring, and we're trying to see how the winter sports work, and we may not have that. However, we have intramurals, and so we're having games or sports for intramurals that would respect the physical distancing or the social distancing. For example, kickball, you can do softball. Ordinarily, we would be doing flag ball, but that's too close a contact sport. So there's some things that we're doing to engage our students who are on campus for face-to-face. So the bottom line is we're looking for every possible opportunity to engage our students in a safe way because they're here for face-to-face, not here to Zoom.
All right.
Primarily to Zoom.
Very important. It's very important. Dr. Pollard, anything else? We didn't do a word as you normally do in the beginning, but I don't know if anyone else has anything to add as we wrap up. Ray, I see your face. Are you are you ready to say something to us?
No, I'm just, I just say this is an opportunity for us all to really put on our thinking caps and create new ways. I think that's what God has given us ability to do that. And so he's now putting us to the test. I've given you a mind, now what you're going to do with it. So this is an opportunity that I don't take lightly. And so I do pray for much success.
Well, Ray, you have always been very creative in your student activities programming. And so I know that this is taking you, everybody's applauding because you've always been out of the box. But this is giving you another level of that. And so that's going to be interesting to watch how you navigate the virtual student activities. But I'm sure it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're excited about what's going to happen. And again, in this new environment, we're finding that we have to be far more adaptive than we've ever been before. I mean, and that's exciting. That's a growth opportunity, isn't it? We're learning good things about ourselves. We really are. So congratulations to all my colleagues, everyone who's here this morning, Dean Knight, Mr. King, Chaplain Pileggi, Dr. Richardson. Thank you for what you do on behalf of Oakwood University. And at Inside Oakwood, we have the opportunity to see Oakwood from the inside out. And Audrey, thank you for stepping in this morning. We appreciate you very, very much. And thank you for WJOU.
Oh, no problem at all. It's what we do. I told Donna this morning, it's team us. We do whatever we have to do. I haven't been on the air like this in a while, but hey, we're going to roll with it and get it done. And so thank you all for joining us this morning. Everybody's in their office. And so God bless you. Have a great Thursday. And it's 9 o'clock now. And so we're going to keep it moving. And we'll also rebroadcast this because we had a few technical difficulties. But have a great day, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Blessings.
Thank you.